A boy embraces his dead father in his coffin, but what happens next is something amazing. The church was silent, save for the soft murmur of prayers and the occasional rustle of tissues. The air was heavy with the scent of lilies and grief. 9-year-old Sam stood at the edge of the open coffin, his small frame trembling as he clutched a framed photo of him and his father fishing at the lake. His father, a man who had always been larger than life, now lay cold and still, dressed in his Sunday best, an almost peaceful look on his face. But before we dive into what happens next, I'd love to know, where are you tuning in from today? Drop a comment below. Sam's mother stood a few feet away, her eyes red and swollen as family members approached to offer condolences. But Sam couldn't move. He had avoided looking into the coffin until now, afraid that seeing his father's lifeless face would make the nightmare real. Gathering courage, he placed the photo on the chest of his father's still body and whispered, "I miss you, Dad." His voice broke, and tears streamed down his cheeks. Suddenly, he climbed onto the small step placed near the coffin and leaned forward, wrapping his arms around his father's stiff frame. The room froze. Gasps rippled through the mourners. His mother reached out to stop him but hesitated, tears spilling anew as she saw her son cling to the man who had been his hero. Sam didn't care about the murmurs. He pressed his cheek to his father's chest, seeking warmth, seeking a heartbeat that wasn't there. "I love you, Dad," he whispered again, his voice muffled. As he held on, something incredible happened. The faintest warmth spread across his father's chest beneath his hands. At first, Sam thought it was his imagination, but then his father's fingers twitched ever so slightly. "Dad?" Sam whispered, pulling back in shock. The mourners gasped as his father's eyelids fluttered open. His chest heaved and a sharp, rasping breath escaped his lips. The priest, standing nearby, dropped his prayer book in disbelief. Sam's father blinked, his gaze moving slowly before landing on his son. "Sammy," he croaked, his voice hoarse but alive. Pandemonium erupted. Some mourners screamed, others sobbed, while a few simply stared in stunned silence. Sam's mother rushed forward, collapsing to her knees beside the coffin, her trembling hands reaching for her husband. Paramedics were called, and within minutes they arrived to stabilize the man who had inexplicably returned from the brink of death. Doctors later called it a miracle, though no one could explain how or why it had happened. As Sam's father recovered in the hospital, he shared a remarkable story. "I was gone," he said, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "I don't know where I was, but it was peaceful, like a dream. Then I heard Sam's voice. I felt his arms around me and it pulled me back. I couldn't leave him." The story made headlines, but for Sam, the miracle was deeply personal. He had gotten his father back, and every hug they shared afterward felt like a gift from the universe. Years later, Sam would tell his own children the story of the day love brought his father back. It became a tale of hope and the unbreakable bond between a father and son, reminding everyone who heard it that sometimes love truly is stronger than death. In the weeks that followed, Sam's father, Tom, recovered slowly but surely. The once robust man was now quieter, more introspective. He often found himself sitting on the porch in the evenings, gazing at the horizon with a faraway look in his eyes. Sam, too young to fully grasp the magnitude of what had happened, stayed glued to his father's side, as if afraid that letting go might cause him to disappear again. One evening, as the sun dipped below the trees, painting the sky in shades of amber and rose, Sam sat next to his father, clutching the same fishing photo he had placed in the coffin. "Dad," he said softly, his voice breaking the peaceful silence. "What was it like? Where did you go?" Tom exhaled slowly, running a hand through his graying hair. "It's hard to explain, Sammy," he said, his voice tinged with both awe and sorrow. "It was beautiful, peaceful, like I was floating in a place where nothing hurt, nothing worried me. It felt like home." Sam's small brow furrowed. "Then why did you come back?" Tom turned to his son, tears glistening in his eyes. "Because of you. I heard your voice. I felt your love, stronger than anything I'd ever known. It pulled me back, like a light guiding me through the dark. Sam leaned into his father, his little arms wrapping tightly around him. "I'm glad you came back," he whispered. Tom's hand rested on Sam's head, his fingers combing through the boy's soft hair. "Me too, buddy. Me too." But the miracle brought with it unexpected challenges. Tom's near-death experience had left an indelible mark on him. Nights became restless, filled with dreams of the peace he'd left behind. He struggled to reconcile the life he had now with the one he had momentarily stepped into. Sam noticed the change, the way his father would stop mid-sentence, staring off as if caught in a memory only he could see. One evening, as they prepared to fish at their favorite lake, Sam hesitated. "Dad," he said, holding the tackle box, "are you okay? You seem sad sometimes." Tom knelt before his son, cupping his small face in his hands. "Sammy, when I was gone, I realized how much I've taken for granted. I've spent too many years working too hard, worrying about things that don't matter. But now I see what truly matters. You, your mom, our family. That's why I get sad. I almost missed out on all of this." Sam's lip quivered, but he nodded, his eyes filled with understanding far beyond his years. "I'm here, Dad. You don't have to miss anything anymore." Tears streamed down Tom's face as he pulled Sam into a fierce hug. "I know, buddy, and I promise I'm not going anywhere." From that day forward, life felt different. Tom spent more time at home, cherishing every moment with his family. He left his high-stress job and started volunteering at the local community center, sharing his story with others who felt lost or disconnected. Years passed, and Sam grew into a young man, his father his constant source of strength and wisdom. On the night before Sam left for college, he found his father sitting on the porch again, gazing at the stars. "Dad," Sam said, sitting beside him, "I'm scared to leave. What if something happens?" Tom smiled, placing a comforting hand on his son's shoulder. "Sam, life is unpredictable, but one thing I know for certain, love keeps us connected no matter where we are. Just like it brought me back to you, it'll keep us close, no matter the distance." Sam nodded, tears brimming in his eyes. "I love you, Dad. I love you too, son. Always." And as the stars shimmered overhead, father and son sat in the quiet embrace of their bond, knowing that some connections are so strong not even death can break them. Drop a comment if you enjoyed this story. It doesn't cost you anything and you'll make me very happy. Thank you, and I look forward to your like.